On qualification, I worked first in my mother's practice for a few months. Then I accepted a job offering in Balclutha, and I went down to Balclutha and worked there till the end of that year. At the beginning of 1950 or thereabouts, I applied and got a job in the Dunedin Hospital and worked there as a staff physiotherapist for about 2 years. At the end of that time, I applied for a job in Southland, the charge physiotherapist for the Southland Hospital Board, and I was given that job. The actual application wasn't an application, it was a request to the hospital board to find out exactly what the whole situation was, what the job required of me and so on, because I didn't have all the details, and the Southland Hospital Board must have taken that as an application and appointed me. But at the same time, I received a request to apply for the job as National Training Officer for the Boys Brigade movement in New Zealand. And that would involve the training of the leadership, the officers of the movement, particularly new people arriving in the movement, and teaching them how the Boys Brigade system worked. Associated with that, I was offered a trip to Britain for a year. Now, of course, I chose that latter job, and I left physiotherapy and went to Britain for a year and did a great deal of training. The interesting thing there was that the training involved short courses. At first, ones at which I attended to learn aspects of Boys Brigade work and the methods used and the systems prepared. And then later in the year, it was my job to lecture at these, and the final course that I did there was to take charge of that. I came back to New Zealand the following year and rejoined the School of Physiotherapy, first as a staff member and then later as a supervising physiotherapist. During that time I worked specifically with patients, and at the end of the second year there I was married, and after several years in the physiotherapy department and in supervising as a supervising physiotherapist, the suggestion was made, why don't you do a teacher's course? And I said, oh well, it would be nice to do that. Yeah, I'd like to. What would it involve? I'd have to go to Britain, wouldn't I? And the statement was, yes, you would. And I said, well, how would I be funded? And the statement there was, you fund yourself. And here was me with a wife and at that stage 2 young children, and I felt that I could scarcely do that. I'll take the kids with you, was the statement. And that to me seemed a bit ridiculous, and I jokingly said, no, I can't do that. You bring the course to New Zealand and I'd be quite happy to try and do that. And blow me down, the next thing is that the course was brought here, and I did my teachers the same standards, hopefully, as were provided in Britain. The same schedules anyway were followed, and I qualified from the course in the teacher physiotherapy in 1964, completing my electrotherapy section the following year.